Hi there, fellow Black Boxes. Just a quick video for today. Really, I'm looking for some feedback. Last night I watched a video by 12 Monkeys 8U, and it's a video entitled, God Said Multiply, but God Can't Multiply. And he quotes Genesis 9, God blessed Noah and his sons and told them to multiply and fill the earth. And so basically, he's making a case for overpopulation in the video. And he does a good job of it, actually. There's some clips in there of a fellow talking about how overpopulation isn't really apparent until it's just about too late, just based on the mechanics and the math behind it. It happens very quickly, you know, it's sort of exponential. And the same with resource depletion, that, you know, we sort of may not know until it's too late that we've depleted the resources, you know, in an unsustainable manner. I think we're sort of there. And so this isn't really my forte, and that's sort of why I'm looking for some feedback. I've always had some thoughts, but I've never really been able to express them to a wider audience and see what other people think. It's sort of been, you know, coffee talk with a friend or my wife or a sibling, but not really anything that I've been able to talk to a wider group of people about. And so from a young age, I've always been concerned about the environment. And I've always felt there was a level of unsustainability. I was more always concerned about population than I was about resources, because I think, you know, resources can be sustainable given a reasonable population. But more importantly, when it comes to resource depletion and climate change, I've always, you know, I've sort of felt like we haven't really been given a lot of choice, and as a society, you know, due to monopolies and due to policy. And to that end, I always hear this phrase bandied about, energy crisis. Now, there's several different ways you can have an energy crisis, of course. You can have an energy crisis due to resource depletion, such as we may have with a finite resource like fossil fuels. But there's also an energy crisis where the utilization of that energy causes problems, whether that's pollution or you know, anthropogenic global warming, if that's a significant factor in the overall global warming scheme. And with regards to energy crisis, well, really with either possibility, you know, with depleting the resources or with the use of those resources causing problems for your environment, I've always thought energy crisis is the wrong term, and I think it's misleading in a way. And this is really what I want feedback on. Because I've always thought, you know, if the universe is made of matter and energy, how can there be an energy crisis? So what I've often thought is that what we really have is a crisis of convenience, or a crisis of monopoly, a crisis of economics, maybe a crisis of policy or politics, a crisis of research, or a crisis of imagination. But I don't think we really have a crisis of energy. And I think it's important to make that distinction because I think a lot of times people sort of feel like, well, we can't burn fossil fuels anymore. I guess we're screwed, and sort of just give up. Especially people who are maybe a little bit older, who sort of know deep down that the crisis isn't really, you know, the excrement isn't going to hit the fan fully probably before they're gone, and so they're willing to sort of ride it out and not really thinking about the children and grandchildren and you know, people who are left behind. And I think it's important to make the distinction between energy crisis and what we really have, because only when you correctly identify the problem can you attempt to solve it. So I just want some feedback on that. Let me know in the comments section whether you think that's a valid point or not. And as always, thanks for listening. Take care.